Hey, welcome back to our Wednesday, first Wednesday of every month. Captain's Log. I'm Captain Allan, Sundance Marine, and we're going to talk about docking, backing into slips, and it's a good day because tide is coming in. We got a good amount of wind. It's going to be blowing us around. I was going to do it just on a single engine, but I don't have one available, believe it or not. Every boat's sold, so we're doing it on a twin, but it'll be basically the same. What I want everybody to remember is it's very important to put the motors, the engines, where you want them before you want to back up. So if I'm backing into a spot and I need to come over to the starboard, I want to get my engines over to the starboard already. If I don't move them to the starboard and I start to turn the engine as I'm backing up, it'll look like a serpentine. It'll start doing something like this. And that's not what you want to do. If you put your engine in the right spot, start backing up, you will absolutely be able to accomplish everything I'm showing you today. The other part to this is always know wind and current. I had our guys here, look up here, we put up a flag up on the dock. You want to show it up over there? So we know which way when we're coming in, where the wind is coming from. It's so important while you're docking to know what wind is going on. The other part is current. The tide is coming in right now. We had high tide earlier. We're at low tide right now. So I know with the tide coming into this basin, it's actually also going to push me to the north. The wind's coming out of the south. Everything's coming in from the south. I'm going to set my boat up. I could do it two ways. I could set it up to the north and back into it, which is really the best way to do it. You could also back into the center, and I'll do a couple of examples, and let that wind and current help you. Wind and current could be your biggest ally or your biggest enemy. So I'm just going to pull a couple feet off the dock, and you know, there's something else really important about docking. Let me get this out. Most people, you know, I'm the delivery captain for Sundance, and I deal with a lot of new and even some well-educated boaters. I turn around when I'm backing up. If you're standing sideways, try to get me over your hill. If you're standing sideways, your 180-degree view is right here. You don't see anything behind you. But if you're backwards, you got 180 degrees behind you. And if you're going straight in, for sure your bow is right behind you. So that's really important. So I'm going to give myself a little push off here, see how things go. Even I need to practice every now and again. You know, wind and current always plays a funny role. You guys could hear me okay, right? We do have some people live here on the dock. So as I pull out, I'm not going to go too far so everybody could hear. We're going to get to this point. I know my wind is coming out of the south. I know that my current is coming in, and I've turned around. Now, if I just keep my engines right where they are, I could just back straight in. Use the wind and the current to your advantage. Now I don't have any power going to it, but if you look, I put the engine in the direction that I want to go, and it's actually pulling it. The other thing to it, so that's a pull-in when I'm backing up. The other part to this is I could push my stern in by giving myself forward thrust. See that? See how the stern comes in? So it really depends on what's going on. Now I let the wind, the current, and any inertia that I might have created moving the boat help me come into the dock. Let me back out, and I'm going to do a little bit more of that. Let me go all the way out, and I'll come back in. So, like I originally said, Haley, you could hear me from here. We still have good transmission. You know, if I was just pulling in, coming from the south, heading north, I want to make sure I'm backing into that tide, wind, and current, because I've got all my power coming to you. So here it is. I could just come on back. I could cheat a little bit today since I've got twin engines, so I might do it. But you see, I'm looking backwards, and I could take this boat now. Even if I had a single, you see how I'm bringing it around? And it's really pretty simple. It's all about going slow and knowing what is out here, you know, wind-wise, current-wise, and everything else. So you see, I just kind of twist the back of my boat in. Even if I had a single engine and I turn that one engine, here I'll just use one engine now. See, it's pulling me in towards the dock. And once again, if I had to turn it the other way and just use one engine, it'll push me into the dock. You see how the stern of the boat is moving? But very importantly, I put the engines in the position I want the engines to take me before I give it any throttle. It's so important to do that. Like I said, a lot of people call me up, hey, can you give me some docking lessons? And they've got the boat going like this because they haven't set themselves up for a good docking. Just get out of this mess. So let me talk about this also, since I'm right here on this piling. Pilings are actually your friend. They are made to pivot around. You'll see that I could just pivot this boat right around a piling. And once you get the boat into it, it ends up being your friend. So don't worry about tapping him. The real thing here is slow and easy. Slow and easy. That's always the way to do it. Something else that you should really pay attention to is my engines are all the way down. The more engine in the water, more propeller, the more control you're going to have over your boat all the time. So a lot of people will have their boat on plane. They'll be out in the intercoastal, then they come in the dock and don't realize their engines are still up because they're on plane. And at that point, you're going to struggle with docking. So it's really important to get those engines back down. Make sure the propeller's all the way in the water, because that's when you're going to get your best propulsion, your best control. I'm cheating a little bit since I got duals on here. You'll see I could just get the back of this boat once again to come on around. I'm going to back out a little bit further, as long as Haley, who my trusty camera person and PR person, we got transmission. So I'm going to pull out over there, and I'm going to do a different type of back in. So the wind actually isn't as strong or as I thought. I thought it'd be a little bit tougher. Remember, you want to always say the wind is pushing my bow. So when you lose your bow and the bow gets pushed over by the wind, something like is happening now, it's not bad to abort and go back into a starting position to back in. Right now I'm just using one engine. Here I'll pivot a little bit with two, but it's okay to restart. A lot of times there'll be people on the dock telling you everything to do. You know your abilities and you know the capabilities of your vessel, and that's really important too. You know, when I do a delivery and I'm talking about training, and I'm talking about, there's a good wind gust trying to throw me off center. When I'm talking about docking and using current and everything else, I kind of tell them that it's like, here, you see I'm struggling a little bit there, so let me pull back out and I'm going to do a better pull in here. But I always liken this to playing baseball in a way. You know, some of you out there have had deliveries from me and I've trained, and I tell you that it's kind of like the last game in the World Series. You need to get the ball in the mitt. The boat's the ball. The dock is the mitt. Don't listen to other people. The dock is the catcher. You know what you're going to be doing. Set yourself up for success like I am trying to do right now. The wind is blowing pretty good, and I'm just going to ease the boat in. And then I'm going to turn my wheel a little bit, and I'm going to give it a little push in towards the dock. Watch this. So now I'm in forward. See how my boat comes around? At this point, I could straighten out my engines and I could back straight in, and the wind and the current are actually my friends right here. So, and we'll use the piling here. Nice and gentle, then I'll just pivot the boat around. Same thing if you had a single engine. You're coming in, you'd put your one engine in the position you want to go, and I highly recommend that you practice standing backwards. It's going to make all the difference. Your view changes completely. Nobody ever, whenever I get on a boat with people, they're standing sideways, and the sideways 180, not knowing what's behind you. If there was another boat in the pit here, you're going to end up on top of them. So that's really is important. I actually did a training for somebody. They wanted me to train their wife how to dock their boat. It was a little Viking, and the husband came back and he said, "What did you do different than I did?" I said, "You had her standing at the helm sideways trying to back up like this. When I turned her around on a dual engine and tried to get her to put it in, she mastered it." So once again, I could see everything that's going on. I know where my engine placement is. My left hand is on my starboard engine. My right hand is on my port engine. And you see, I could just work this boat right in, and I'm not touching the wheel. I'm just using engine to do that. Any questions? Nothing? Nobody? You guys have any questions? You guys want to, anybody want to try it? You want to come down and give it a try?
I can't. I'm still waiting on this right shoulder to get full motion back.
Yeah, I got mine
I
back.
have to do everything on one hand.
I got mine. I just had my shoulder redone. It's working good.
I can't take my boat out yet because I can't spread the line.
You want to come down and give it a try, Tony?
Yeah.
All right. So we've been trying to do live stuff. Watch your head coming down. We've been trying to do live stuff since for 2 years now. Finally, I think things have cleared up a little bit with COVID, and here we are. Go ahead. So I know you're a little bit of a boater. There you go. Always nice and easy, even when you're leaving. Slow is pro. All right, we'll see what you got. I'm right here if you have any questions. Go out a little bit further, get yourself into the wind. There you are, you got everything turned around. If your engines are set up straight just like that, you should just be able to use motor. On a twin, on a single, you're gonna have to rotate that wheel to get you into the right position. Good blast of wind right there. So pivot now. Yeah, forward here. Reverse on the other. Do it again. Here, watch this. Hang on. Don't go back. Yep. 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 Slow it up. There you go. A little bit less. All you need is to get it into gear. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, these new throttles, the electric throttles with the pedometer on it, they're really touchy. They're very, very sensitive. Now use the piling. Pivot right around. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we used to use them all the time. I used to drive a big yacht, and every now and again we had to, a big windy day on a 105 footer, you actually need to use a piling sometimes to get you to get that boat around because you just don't have enough in it. A bow thruster, stern thruster is not always going to help you. You want to give it another shot?
Yeah. The scenario is, I like to mention, usually when you go to a different marina, harbor master, they don't usually give you your favorite dock. They give you somewhere against the wind.
Right.
Then the problem starts.
Yeah, I just delivered a boat to the Keys, and that's exactly what happened.
So when you try them more on the other side, then we're going to have more problems.
Yeah, well, that is a tough side. I mean, you could try to go over there. I mean, I have no problem. I'd get over there pretty good. But like I said, I want to use the wind and the current as my buddy.
Yeah.
So go ahead. So go on into the center and then pivot. All right, take it out of gear because you already have both of them. I'll tell you why. You already have inertia. You've created inertia.
Yeah.
That's another thing. It's all about timing also. When I'm docking side to at a restaurant, what I do is I talk to people about, it's a game of chicken. You really want to get to the last second before you turn your wheel over and then put it in reverse to pull your stern in. If you kill your inertia that you've already created, you got to start over. Even I have to. There's no way for you to really recover from that. So kind of,
We can
yeah.
let the wind just go in there. It's
Yeah,
not doing anything,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, I pivot a little bit more so I get more parallel, and I tuck it in a little more. You know, you got a 28-footer, so if you don't get it midship with this piling, you'll end up over there. So,
What was that?
that was, you hit the trim. Yeah.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. No problem. That's why we're here. We're here to learn. Go on back here. Pretty good. I like that. I'll give you an A on that one.
Well, thank you.
Yep. Anybody else want to give it a try? No? You good? Yeah, Tony, I'll let you
Sure.
jump off right there. Watch your phone. Don't step on that. Any questions? Anybody out there? Wow. Oh, no questions? Not a one? I guess we did a pretty good job.
Reiterate your inertia comment.
So inertia, energy. You create energy when you're moving the boat. So let's add a single engine and I'm backing, or either if I'm backing in or if I'm going side to a face dock like at a restaurant or a gas dock, I don't want to kill my inertia. If I'm coming in, I'm feathering my throttles. I'm not laying on all the throttles. I'm just feathering them because I don't want all speed. So as I'm coming in, I'm feathering those throttles. I've created energy. I've got inertia on my side. As I get about 3 feet off of that dock, I rotate my engine if I'm side to, and I'll give it in gear and reverse, in gear and reverse. Only to pull my stern in or push my stern in, I'd be in forward. All right, but I don't want to kill that inertia that I've already got coming into the dock. So you'd go into reverse. You go into reverse for too hard. Neutral's not your enemy, but if you go into a gear too hard, let's say I was pulling into a side two dock, down at shooters, we'll say. So I'm pulling in the shooter. I use the tide. I get my bow into the tide, 30 degrees, because the tide's going to push me into the dock. And as I get maybe 3 feet away, I'm in neutral. I'm still moving.
Right.
I turn my engine into the dock. I give it one shot in reverse. See how it pulls me in. If I need to come in more, I give it another shot. Will pull me in even more. But if you give it too much in reverse, you'll stop any forward momentum. So your bow ends up not being on the dock. Then you pull in your stern, and then you have to start over again. So, and you know, at those restaurants also, you know, you could have a line on your boat, you toss them a line, and you know, they're going to help you out. But it's really, that's an important feature. You know, if we had a different scenario where we were, you know, a face dock, a nice long face dock, I'd do that also. Maybe that'll be the next one. You know, I'm trying to get the local Marine Patrol to come in on my next seminar, which will be next month. We've already been in conversation, so we'll see how that goes, which I think will be really helpful, especially up here because of all the local people that we sell boats to. But here's another good example. I'll turn these engines the other way now. If I just put it in forward, see what happens? Just pushes my stern in. All right? So it's the same thing if I was on a face two dock. I mean, I was just sitting here, but you don't want to kill that inertia, and you could push your stern into the dock or pull it in, depending on what position your engines are in and where you're, you know, you're throttling. But
the bottom line is, if you're approaching the dock, you don't want to go crazy with the reverse.
Right.
It's basically just like kill everything before it's time.
well, if you line up the boat just right, get yourself, like I said, 30 degrees into that dock, even at a fuel dock, and the tide's coming in. At a restaurant, you see everybody's docked the same way.
Yep.
Well, there's a reason. They're coming they're coming in, and they're going to turn the wheel in, give it a shot of reverse, and pull in. You know, bigger boat, I used to have somebody drop a spring line, and then I could actually pivot off of that spring line. These boats aren't big enough to do it. You know, I've got pretty big boat experience, and that would be a way to do that as well. Question?
No. I was just talking about spring lines, and you know, on my Sea Ray, I've got two cleats on the tail.
Right.
You know, I don't know if the Catalina has them.
Right.
So I don't know if I'm gonna be
The Catalina has them on the back, on the down.
They'll be the same.
Yeah, but we're gonna, when we deliver that, we set you up, we're gonna do it a little bit different. I was actually across the street from your place the other day.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah.
You see the sailboat, you should see the sailboat sitting next to me.
I saw that. I saw that sailboat sitting there.
They got a petition to get a longer dock so we can tie it up right now. I was just commenting about how you're coming in. I got 17 feet and he's over here. My neighbor's got 30.
You're gonna be fine.
I'm sure.
You'll be fine. I actually checked it out when I was there because I got people right, 1, 2, 3. I've got 5 people on your canal.
Cool.
So you'll be fine.
I'm just going to add something into it about going into any restaurants.
Yep.
Never give your rope to an experienced person for your bow rope. If they give you a little short, then you got.
Oh, you're screwed. Your stern's out.
I don't want to use the word.
Yeah.
Taping it.
Yeah. Well, that's a very good point. Thank you. If you
don't give your rope to any. Sorry.
Yeah. If you tie that bow line too tight, you'll never get your stern in.
No.
It's going to be. So you really need slack on.
Yeah.
That's the last line you actually tighten after you're on the dock. I mean, I would usually do my crisscross, and if I needed to, an offshore, and then a bow.
But usually, if I want to go into the restaurant, I usually give my midship rope in case they can, because if these guys are
right. Well, midship is the way to go.
They want to help you.
Yeah.
They got excited. They give you a very short, and then all of a sudden you came up so nicely, and the last minute, all your part.
Yeah. You know, at shooters, they'll come out and help you. If you get your fuel here at Taha, they come out, they'll help you.
Sure.
You know, right here in town.
Sure.
They'll come out, they'll grab a line. They know exactly what to do. The dock guy over at Kalou's, all the local restaurants here.
Kalou's guy's good.
Yeah, they're all good. I mean, he's actually, as a young kid, the kid with red hair is really, really very good.
Yeah, just another addition.
Yep. Any questions? I mean, I think we're good to wrap.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was some good information. You sure you don't want to come down and try?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Good. How's that?
No.
How's the Helpmaster?
Christina, go and try it.
How does the Helpmaster change the whole operation here?
Well, I don't have a joystick on here, so Helmmaster, when I'm docking a boat, I actually only use, you still on? Okay. Well, I only use that joystick to fine tune and pull myself to the side. So Helmmaster's great, but those engines, Yamis, go into orientation and then spool. So you do have a little bit of a delay, so you need to set yourself up for the wind, current, and that 3-second delay. So that's very, very important. You need to be on your game with that. The Mercury works a little bit different. It'll start spooling as it's orientating, and you do get a little bit more control with it. The new Helmmaster, though, I will tell you, is excellent as well. They've made some great improvements. Yeah, the EX has great additions to it. So, yep. So now, see ya. Yes.
I'll call you.
All righty.
Very
Good enough. We're good. Thank you for joining me today. Have a great evening. Be safe on the water. See you next month. Hopefully Marine Patrol will be with us. Thank you.